Hello, Lisa. Hi, Catalina.
Hey, Tom.
Good afternoon, Catalina.
Good
Evening.
afternoon. No, not yet. 2 minutes.
Oh, it's still 2 minutes. Right. Yeah, because it's you're 2 hours behind me.
Yeah.
Hi.
My morning.
Hi, Miriam. Good to see you again. How are you?
Well, fine. It's okay.
Good. I'm sorry I couldn't come to your Viva Cafe the other week. You were talking all about Nantes.
Yes. And all very nice point where we can drink something and so.
Hello, Yushan.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, so what are the highlights of Nantes then, Miriam?
There is a lot of points, very fine, and it's very big city with a lot of park and nature, so you can drink along a river. It's l'Erdre, or along the Loire, so next to the castle. So there is a lot of beautiful points.
Catalina and Yushan, have you been to France? Have you ever been to Miriam's city?
No, never. I hope so. I live in Europe now, so maybe one day when this situation is over.
Yeah, whereabouts are you in Europe, Yushan?
Italy. I live in Italy. Yeah.
Where in Italy? What part of Italy?
Rome.
Rome.
Yeah.
Not bad. I've never been to Rome, but it must be an excellent opportunity to be in Rome now, because normally there are so many tourists in Rome that it's difficult to appreciate. But now it must be quite nice.
Sort of. Relatively, I guess. There's still a lot of people out there. It could be worse, I guess.
Hi, Isabel. Hi, Isabel. Everything okay? Can you hear me all right? I think she can have.
Hello, that's perfect. Thank you.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. Are you based in France, Isabel?
Yes, I'm in Paris.
Okay, you're in Paris. So Miriam was talking about her city, which is Nantes. Do you know Nantes quite well?
I've been there 2 or 3 times, I think, and it's a very nice city, very well noted in on the French panel of cities. I think it's a very nice place to live.
Yes, yeah. I've never been there. I've been to some places in Brittany. I've been to La Rochelle as well, but I've never been to Nantes. What about you, Catalina?
No, I haven't been in Europe yet.
Right,
Maybe
I'm
in the
sure
future.
you will. Yes. With Avianca has some good special offers for you to fly around the world.
Yeah. We need to wait for the pandemic for the cases to go down a little bit.
Okay, welcome to the session. Hello, Alicia. Good, nice. Welcome to the group. Welcome to the group today. We're having some of you I recognize because you came to some of the other sessions. Okay, but the last 2 sessions we were looking at presentations, how to improve your presentation skills. But today there's a slight change. We're looking at interview situations. So situations where you have to answer questions in a stressful situation. For example, when you are trying to get a job. Now, I'm going to start sharing my screen. Okay, let's see if we got the right one. Very good. Should be working here. Okay, very nice. VivaLing adult courses, a bit of advertising for you here if you're not already studying. Then of course we do have lots of courses for different languages: Mandarin, German, Spanish, French and English. I think everybody here is involved in one of these languages except for German. But this is the advertising. It's over now. It's like YouTube, where you have to watch a video before we start. So today we're going to talk about improving your performance in interviews. And I've written a couple of key points here, which are questions. What is your star sign? And also, be careful with the door. Why? Well, the reason I put these two, one question and one warning, is because there have been cases in the past where people go to an interview and they ask you, what is your star sign? So Miriam, what is your star sign?
Cancer. In French, cancer.
Okay. Yes, in English, cancer, the crab. It's the animal, the crab. Yushan, do you know what your star sign is? I know in Chinese you have a different system.
No,
You don't know? When is your birthday, Yushan?
September 30.
Okay, so Catalina, Miriam, Alicia, does anybody know Isabel? September the 30th?
13? Maybe?
Yes.
Virgo, you'd say.
Virgo, very good,
Virgo.
Alicia, yeah.
I think so.
So in that case, I'm going to give the job to Miriam, but not to Yushan, because her star sign is correct for our company. It's true, some companies, they give you the job depending on your star sign.
No.
And the other slight anecdote here is be careful with the door, because there was a story of a person going for a job interview. He didn't look carefully at the door, and his foot, he tripped on the door and fell over before the interview started. And they said, no, okay, there's no point, go away. We're not going into interview because you fell over. So the lesson is, be careful to have the correct star sign, and don't fall over the door when you enter the interview room. So today, what we're going to do, this was the intro, the introduction. We're going to talk about 4 different techniques with some different expressions that we can discuss, that you can do in interviews. And finally, we're going to have a case study. We're going to look at a job where we need a new employee, and we're going to practice interviewing you to see who gets this job, and we can decide together. So the different parts are buying time, talking about details being the icing on the cake, how to turn negative into positive, the mirroring, and then finally the case study. So can I just ask you, Isabel, Alicia, Catalina, when was the last time you were involved in an interview? Either sometimes as the interviewer, so you asking the questions, or maybe you, the interviewee, being interviewed for a job. Can anybody share any experiences?
Well, my last interview was with Abby 4 years ago. And my video was not working, the light was not in front of me, so she couldn't see me. So I had many negative experiences with that interview.
Right. But Catalina, did you get the job?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, so negative, but not so negative.
Not so negative. Well, maybe negative in the moment of the interview because I was nervous in that moment because there were different things that were not working. But, well, maybe what I said convinced her.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Thank you, Catalina. Alicia, what's your experience, your most recent experience?
The most recent is about 10 years ago for an internal change of work. But yes, it's quite far away. And it went quite well. It was in English because my new boss was German. So we had to do this interview in English.
Okay, and if you had to do another interview next week, would you be nervous about it in English?
Oh yes, I think so. In English or even in French.
Yes, I think you're right. An interview is, you get nervous, whatever the language.
Exactly.
Okay, what about you, Isabel? Is she here?
Sorry, I cut my my video because the connection is quite unstable. So
no problem, Isabel. I understand. So just leave it.
The
sometimes the voice works better. But if it's a problem, if it comes up and down, so I'll ask you questions when your connection is good. It's a good thing it's not an interview now as well.
Can you?
No, we can't really. Well, I can't really hear you as well. But we will persevere, okay. And I'm sure I'll ask you another question in a minute. Okay, so let's move on because we need to make sure that we have plenty of time for the case study, which is very important. Now, buying time, Yushan, what do you think I mean by buying time in an interview?
Oh, I guess just when you can't answer the question, you stall a little bit. I don't know, maybe.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry, something happened. Let's just get back. Okay, where we are. Can you see the slide again now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So, yes, Yushan, did you hear my question?
Yes, I answered. I think just when you don't know the answers from interviewer, you just say something to buy time. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I put L1 or L2 because it depends if you're doing the interview in your first language, L1, or your second language, L2. I think if it's your first language, hold on, let me just, yeah, if it's your first language, it's maybe easier to buy time because you know different expressions that you can use. But if it's your second language, it helps to know some different expressions that you can use. So Miriam, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some expressions or some tips that you can do, but not all of them. Maybe some of them are a good idea, but not all of them. So you can say this. Can you read this, please, Miriam?
That's a really good question.
Okay, continue.
So what you are asking me is...
and then you rephrase the question, you ask the question again.
Thanks for asking me about that. It's a really important subject for me. Could you wait a minute, please? I just need to check something on my phone. Oh, it's not good, that, I think.
Why not, Miriam?
Oh, no, you don't have to look on your phone if you are in interview.
Exactly, Miriam. So today, during the interviews that we do, you can use the first three expressions here. So, thank you. Yes, that's a really good question. And if you start answering the question immediately, sometimes you may need to change your position or change your answer. So just give yourself a little bit of time by saying, yes, that's a really good question. Thanks for asking me about that. It's a really important subject for me. It sounds, maybe the other person knows that you're just buying time, but it helps to give you that little bit of extra time to organize your thoughts. So thank you, Miriam, and congratulations for identifying the bad advice. Now, Catalina, let's have a look at this. Can you read this at the top?
Details are more than the icing on the cake.
And here we have a picture. So the icing on the cake. Do you make cakes, Catalina? You like cooking?
Yeah, no cakes, but I like cooking.
Okay.
I know what the icing is.
What is the icing?
What you put on the top, that is very sweet.
Yes, normally it's very sweet. When I was a child, I used to like the icing, but not the cake.
But not the cake, yeah. That's what children do.
Yes. So in this case, I'd like you to read the two versions. So the question would be a very common question in interviews. People say, tell me about yourself. So you could do like the first person here, Catalina. Can you read the first example, please?
Sure. I started teaching about 3 years ago with some people I knew. After that, I got a job with a school in a town a few miles away, and I really enjoy my job. Now I am looking for a new challenge, and from what I have seen, your company would be ideal.
Thank you, Catalina. Now, Alicia, can I ask you to read the second paragraph?
I started teaching about 3 years ago when my neighbors asked me to help prepare their children for a Cambridge exam. The following September, I got a job as a language assistant in a primary school in Bedford, and I really enjoy my job. Last month, I saw a blog about your school on teaching.com, and I know that you need young people like me with fresh ideas to take the company forward.
So Yushan, what's the difference? What makes the second paragraph better than the first paragraph?
Longer. It looks longer. It's a more detailed information. I don't see just giving more personal experience.
It specifies the experience the teacher has had, like the Cambridge exam or
More concrete.
that he's young. Well, that he has been a language assistant.
Yeah, and also when you talk about where you found out about the country, about the company, what you found out about the company. So I think sometimes people generalize too much in interviews, and it's the interviewer's job to make you be more specific. But yes, make sure that you give details about why you like things. If you say, yeah, I'm really interested in this kind of work. Okay, lots of people are interested, but you need to say in exactly what way. Okay, so this is the second part. Now, let's move on. Turning negativity into positivity. So, Isabel, how's your connection now? Is your connection good? I'll come back to you later. So, Alicia, I'd like you to look here. We've got some awkward questions. Do you know this word awkward, Alicia?
Uncomfortable, something like that?
Yes, exactly. So uncomfortable or difficult. It's an awkward situation or an awkward question. And sometimes these questions, like a lot of interviews these days are behavioral interviews, where they want to know the candidate's behavior in specific situation.
we are alone again.
Can you, let me just check. Okay, you disappeared for a minute, but everybody's back now. Can you all still hear me?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, great. So these examples, they often use this, tell me about a time when, when you did something. And they like to ask you about a time when you had to deal with conflict, because conflict is normally a negative situation. So they want to know how you dealt with that in a professional situation. Another very common difficult question is, what are your weaknesses? It's easy to talk about your strengths, but say, what are your weaknesses? And people say, I'm a perfectionist. But don't say that because it's a cliche. So it's good to think of a way that you can answer a question like this. Also, tell me about a time when your team failed to deliver. So again, this is a failure, a negative situation. How can you make that into something positive? How do you respond to criticism as well? Because if we are criticized, it's because we've done something which is not good. But how do you respond to that? And also, why are you leaving your current position? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask each of you for a tip that you can give related to one of these questions. So for example, Catalina, you can choose one question and say, what do you think would be a good way to make this negative question into something positive in your interview?
Maybe, what are your weaknesses? You can mention one of your weaknesses and explain how you have solved a problem where you have been involved. I don't know if that could be a tip, I'm thinking.
Yeah, definitely. Because if you identify a weakness and say how you have addressed that. So you might say, my time management skills are not so good. Sometimes I'm late, but in the last 6 months, I've started an online course to improve my time management skills. And in the last 2 months, I haven't missed any deadlines. So you take the weakness, which is a real weakness, but you mention what you have done about it and also the results of that. So I think that's a very good example of how you can make something negative into something positive. Thank you, Catalina. Okay. Miriam, can you give a tip about any way to answer any of these other questions?
For the first one, I would say I would speak about a conflict, but not a big one, but on a conflict which we together deal something better. So perhaps it was a conflict, but at the end, it was no more a conflict, but it was a better functionment. I don't know.
Yes, or functioning. So things, so you mean to describe how things work better after the conflict?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's difficult because you want to, HR or managers generally don't like people who avoid conflicts. So if you say, oh no, I never get involved in a conflict, that's a bad thing because you have to defend your position. But equally, they don't like people who are too aggressive. You need to negotiate your position. So I think the key here is that you have to show that you try to understand the other people's position and try to be impartial so that they can see, yeah, you're fair, but if there is a conflict, you will take a position, but you will be reasonable and realistic about it as well. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that, Miriam. Alicia, would you like to talk about one of the other questions?
How do you respond to criticism? We can say that we are always listening to critics and always try to improve with regard to that. Always accept a critique and try to take it into account to do better the next time.
Yes. Do you think it's a good thing if you say I don't like criticism? I mean,
no, I think it's better to accept it and try to understand.
Yes. But do you think, I mean, if you say, I welcome criticism, I'm happy to be criticized, is that also bad because it's not true?
No, I think it's not the best way.
And do you think it would be a good idea to go back to being specific? So maybe if you say, how do you respond to criticism? Give an example of something that you received criticism for and how you responded to it.
Do I have an example?
No, you don't have to give me an example.
Okay.
But I mean, in an interview, is it a good idea to give an example?
Yes, of course. I think it's a good it's a good way to answer to that.
Okay, thank you, Alicia. I agree. We'll be able to practice this in a minute. Yushan, could you talk about one of the other two questions?
Okay, so why are you leaving your current position? I actually had this question before, and I think I answered very negatively, just not very positive way. So right now, I think I will just turn this question into how good this school is, and I mean, if it's a school, and I want to change to get a better position, just focus on how well this job is and suit me, something like that.
Yeah, I agree, Yushan. I think the important thing here is that some people talk about why they're not happy in their current job, and interviewers never like people complaining or moaning about their boss or about the current company, because they will think maybe it's not the company, maybe it's you that's the problem. Yes. So the best thing to do is to make it positive by talking about the other improved opportunities that you could get in a different position, rather than focusing. So don't focus on the current position, focus on the future position and how that could be better.
Like, how can you grow as a professional in the new position? Maybe highlight the things you will learn if you get that job in the new company.
Exactly. It's room to grow, more opportunities to grow as a professional, and that all makes a difference. Isabel, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm back.
Oh, okay, great. Your connection sounds fantastic now.
It seems to be okay now, but I was put away and I came back maybe 5 or 6 times, so I'm sorry for that.
That's okay.
So maybe you want me to tell you about a time my team failed to deliver.
Yes, you don't have to tell us about the time, but how you would answer the question.
Yeah. Honestly, it's not easy. Could someone help me? Because I don't have any idea, honestly. Because of course I don't want to. It's not a good point to say that it was too difficult or the team was too short to make so much work in a so short time. So to turn it into a positive message, I don't have any idea, honestly.
How much, Isabel, would you focus on your personal responsibility and your personal involvement for how the team failed to deliver? And how much would you focus on the other people in the team? So
I have the habit to take most of the things on me, even if it's because we are a team. I'm not supposed to say that someone of the team is not good. So I think I would say that I would say we did not, but I would think I did not, and I know that it's not positive at all.
What do you think, Miriam? Do you agree with Isabel?
Perhaps we can say it happens, but now we have a new person in our team, so it couldn't happen again or so.
Yeah.
I think it's a good moment to mention or to tell the interviewer about your team skills. Like how do you work, how well do you work with the team if you are asked to work as a team.
Mm-hmm.
So I will take this opportunity to tell that person about my team skills.
Yeah, and I think also similar to the other questions of turning negative into positivity, the fact that the team failed is not always a bad thing. If you can emphasize how the team improved or grew or learned, and also about, as Catalina was saying, your performance in a team, your team, either team leadership or team working skills, and you can say, yeah, I improved because when I saw that the team didn't work because there wasn't enough communication, the next time that we had a similar project, I emphasized the importance of communication and everybody understanding what was going on. So I think it's the similar message of negativity into positivity. But thank you all for your contributions. And I need to make sure that our team doesn't fail because we have an important task to do today. Now, Isabel, as you're here and you're very active now, with your connection is good, I'm going to ask you to read out the tips on mirroring. This is similar to the task that Miriam did at the beginning, where there are some things that you should do, that you can do, that maybe you agree with, but there's one thing here that maybe is not such a good idea. So here we have two people and a sentence. So Isabel, can you read this out, please?
Yes. Most people trust others when they behave like them.
Do you agree with this, Isabel?
I quite agree.
Okay, thank you. So there are 4 points here, please. Isabel, can you read the first one?
Try to be as formal or informal as your interviewer.
Okay.
Pay attention to your interviewer's body language. By noticing, you will subtly adopt their attitude. Repeat every last word that your interviewer says. And if you mirror your interviewer, this will make them feel more at ease.
So, Isabel, which of these do you agree with? And is there anything here that you don't agree with?
I think I don't think it's a very good idea to copy exactly the to be like a mirror. But can you hear me? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I can't see you anymore. I'm sorry. Today it's difficult, huh? I don't understand why, but well, if you can hear me, it's okay.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Well. Okay,
Perfect. I don't see the screen anymore, but anyway, I think it will come back. It's not a good idea to behave exactly the same because we are supposed to have a professional in front of us. So I think in a few minutes he will see that we behave exactly like him. But trying to be as formal or informal as him or her is a good idea, probably. Or yeah, it may be a good idea. And repeating every last word could be a good idea after some sentences, of course, not after all the sentences.
Yeah, thank you, Isabel. I included this sentence as repeating every word as one which was supposed to be a bad idea.
Okay.
Because I imagine that the interviewer might get a bit angry, annoyed, irritated. But yeah, you're right. It could be after some sentences to emphasize the words. It could be a good idea. And I think, yeah, the formality is important. You need to observe because you need to fit into the style of the company. So if everybody is very formal and you decide to be very relaxed and use less formal language, then you're probably not going to fit in as well. So I think that's a negative thing. And I think the key thing is people who are good at listening and people who are good at communicating often do this without realizing it. You just look at the body language and make subtle adjustments. But of course, if you copy exactly what the person is doing, that's not a good idea. Welcome, Omar, to the group, where you're just in time to get involved in the case study. So we've been talking about interviews, but we have a job that we need to find somebody to fill. So if you look here, you can see that we need a job for, well, what's happening here? This position. It is a commercial security officer for VivaLing Online Language Academy in Singapore. So VivaLing is a fast-growing online language academy with offices in downtown Singapore. This is the position overview. So as a commercial security guard, it will be your responsibility to patrol the company buildings and report any issues that may arise. You will maintain a safe and secure environment for customers and employees. We are also searching for a team member that communicates well with the public. Qualifications, we need you to have full-time availability. We need you to work on a shift, so Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. A security license is not required, but previous experience is necessary. And the pay rate is hourly, but it's a very good hourly rate, with a bonus for exceptional performance. So we don't want any security problems in our offices. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to split you up into two groups. Okay, so Group A will represent VivaLing and will interview the candidates. So you need to work together to create 5 questions that you can ask the candidates and also decide on any qualities, personal qualities that you consider ideal. Group B will be candidates who want to apply for a job as a security guard with VivaLing. Of course, I know that probably you're not you don't have experience as security guards, but you need to invent the experience and just be creative. So work together and decide what would be the best and the worst qualities to have during the interview. And you will have to improvise and try to convince the interviewer that you are right for the job because your children are hungry. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're going to use the breakout rooms to create 2 rooms. So we have Omar, Alicia, Isabel, okay, and we have Yushan, Catalina, and Miriam. So we can have 2 groups of 3, which I think would be ideal. So Lisa, are you with us to help with the breakout rooms?
I do, Tom. So you would like, how many breakout rooms would you like?
2, with 3 people in each.
Right.
let's just check Omar is can hear us. I can see his photo with a nice cat, but I can't see Omar. Omar, can you hear me? Well, if Omar is in your
the one
group,
listening.
yeah, maybe he's just listening. If Omar is in your group, we'll make what we'll do is Omar can be one of the candidates, and so it's up to you, Lisa. We need 3 and 3, and Omar is Omar's group B.
Group B. So he has a problem with his microphone. Okay.
Okay, so he can listen, but it doesn't matter if he doesn't speak.
No problem. So I have Alicia, Coach Miriam, Coach Yushin in the room 1, and Coach Catalina, Isabel, and Omar in the group 2.
That sounds excellent. Okay.
Let me know when I can open the rooms, and then everybody will be sent.
So let me just check. So group 1 is VivaLing, and group 2 are the candidates to be interviewed.
So I will rename the groups to make it clear. VivaLing, and the second group is candidates. Okay. Okay, that's great. Should I open the rooms?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay.
Welcome, everybody. But it's only for a minute because we're going to start the interview now. So Catalina and Isabel are the 2 candidates for the VivaLing security guard. And so you're going to enter different breakout rooms, and Yushin and Miriam are going to interview Isabel, and Alicia is going to interview Catalina, and Omar is going to observe. And then we can see who's the best candidate. Okay.
To start my studies in this subject, but 3 years ago I could pay for a course. It was an online course, and I had to do some practicum in my city. So now I have a certificate as a security guard.
And did you work in several companies as a security guard, or is it your first experience?
I have worked for 2 companies so far. The first company was in my city, in my country, and then when I finished my studies, I was able to move to a different country and start working as a security guard in a different country.
Did you already face a big issue or big difficulties in one of your last jobs?
Well, maybe in my last job, we had the city was facing different problems because of the government, and we were on a strike in the city. So we have to be very careful because there were people attacking the building that I was where I was working. So that was a very stressful situation that we had in my job, and the attacks were at the beginning of the day, like during my morning shift. So everybody was inside the building, and it was stressful for everybody. So I was able to face the situation because I could help people manage the situation and calm them down. So I think it worked out well, and we were all in the same place, and we just waited for the situation to calm.
Okay, perfect. Okay, and so why do you think you are the best candidate for this job?
Well, I have been researching for different jobs because right now I don't have a job, and I found your company that is a language company, and I have been taking some lessons, English lessons, because my native language is not English. So and I think I have a good level or a certain level to start working in a company like yours, because I could face the responsibility to to help your company be secure, and in case you need a bilingual person, maybe to give some conferences or to help people in your job learn about security, general things about security, I could give the conferences in both languages, my native language and also English. So I would like to have this experience in your job.
Okay. So you would say you have a good communication skills and a good contact with people.
Yes, I think I can. I have been able to develop a good rapport with different people in my previous jobs. So I think that's a strength I have, good communication skills in both languages.
Very well. Okay, so it seems that you correspond to our need. Do you have any questions?
Yes, when would my shift start, or the shift starts?
Yes,
what time?
The shift is 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. Every day, from Monday to Friday.
From Monday to Friday. Okay, perfect.
Would it be okay for you?
That would be okay for me, yeah. Okay. Because I'm taking care of my family during the mornings.
Okay, okay. And punctuality is one of your strengths also?
It has always been my strength, yeah.
Okay, it's very important to us.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Okay, so I think what we need is a quick discussion between Miriam, Yushan, and Alicia about the relative benefits of candidate Catalina and also candidate Isabel. And then you can decide who's going to get the job. Yeah, okay. So Yushan, you're Miriam and Alicia, you're on mute, so we can't see you. So you can, Miriam and Yushan, what did you think of Isabel's suitability for the position?
I think she has a lot of experience, and she's trying to be positive to answer the question. And the answers are so detailed. So I'm amazed. So I'm quite satisfied her answer.
And one time it happened a fire, and she can face. It was wow, surprising.
Right, so they were very impressed, Catalina. So I hope Alicia was impressed with you, Catalina.
Yes, very impressed. She's perfect for the job. She has 10 years experience with 2 companies. Yes, she has a good qualification, and she already faced a very stressful situation, which she managed very well. She put everybody in security with a context of strike and people attacking the company and the building. And she's very nice, very smiling. She's great.
Oh no! So can you think of a solution, Miriam?
Perhaps we can
We both
choose both candidates.
Chiefs.
I knew it, Miriam. I knew if I asked Miriam, because Miriam's a very nice person, she's going to say, let's give the job to Catalina and Isabel. But then it's going to be more expensive, Miriam. What can we do?
I know the company always just have this trial, probation time. So just let them get on the probation and see who perform better.
And see who's best.
Right. But maybe because they're such good candidates, that maybe they won't accept a probation period.
Maybe.
What do you think, Isabel, Catalina? Will you accept the offer of a probation period?
How long is that period?
Yeah, good question.
Yushan?
Is it paid?
1 month.
1 month.
1 month.
Mhm.
Okay.
And is it paid? Do they get paid during their probation period?
Well, normally, according to my experience, they get really low pay, like maybe
Oh,
20%.
we are paid.
Okay. Thank you everybody for your participation today. I hope you enjoyed the session. It was nice to hear all of your contributions in the interviews and the role play. And also the good thing is that it was recorded, so I'll be able to look at the recordings to give you some feedback on the language that you were using and also the tips. And remember that this is the first in a series of 2 focusing on interviews. So in the next session, we'll still be talking about interviews. We'll do another role play where you can practice a little bit more, but we'll be focusing on a slightly different aspect of it. So thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed it, and congratulations.